Link engaged.
Visit us at TeamSpeak.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here we are finding ourselves in game number 1 of the semifinal. We are on Metalopolis, and at the 9 o'clock position, we have mTw.DIMAGA spawning as our blue Zerg player. His opponent down here at the 6 o'clock position, that is ZeNEXHack. He is our red Terran, so a little Korean versus EU matchup to begin our day.
Yeah, and I think an interesting thing to point out already is that DIMAGA obviously is not from Korea, but he did spend some time there in the Korea versus the World show match series that they were doing, and TT1 over on the other side of the bracket facing off against Ruby there for that Korea versus. So every single player left in TL Open number 25 has spent some time over there playing against the world's best. So I think Hack versus DIMAGA should be an excellent semifinal series here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. DIMAGA's been posting some great results recently, even very animated as he takes victories, as I'm sure we've seen a lot of the images recently. But he's a great guy, and I love his genuine enthusiasm for the game. But like you mentioned, all these guys have spent time in Korea or are living in Korea. And we are close positions by air now for this ZVT, so we'll see what both these players end up going with here. I've been following DIMAGA's play a little bit lately, but I am a little bit unclear as to what Hack is going to do. Oh, DIMAGA had a little bit of a weird split on his drones. I don't know if you guys caught that on the OBS panel, but that was kind of interesting. All his drones just started running around for a second.
That'll happen, especially when you're just APM spamming at the beginning of the game. Like that's one of the you know, treacherous parts of just APM spamming. Yes, you get warmed up, but occasionally you'll drag your drones to a ridiculous location. But over at Hack's base right now, we do see him just walling off very standard stuff from a Terran player so far, but I noticed that he has not put up a refinery just yet, so I think a quick expansion is going to be likely here in game 1.
Yeah, certainly. It could be a little bit risky on this map, just given the fact that your natural is so darn wide and is pretty hard to defend, even with 1 or even 2 well-placed bunkers against Zergling run by, something along those lines. So the strategy could pay off for him if he doesn't take a lot of pressure from DIMAGA, as we see DIMAGA already put down 15 hatch, went into pool after that. But if he gets some sort of an early, very aggressive all-in sort of play, could be difficult for Hack to hold.
That's true, and DIMAGA, obviously, with that hatch first, means that Hack may have some time to actually place some bunkers down and stuff like that, although he just went with that 1 rack, so it's not going to be as likely. If he had thrown down a second one before that command center, obviously, I think we'd be more likely to see some bunker play, but right now Hack is just getting a good look around DIMAGA's base. He's got a single extractor coming up now, along with that spawning pool, so Zergling speed most likely going to get researched first before any Roach Warren or Baneling Nest goes up. Of course, DIMAGA is still going to be just creating lots and lots of macro tools, those drones, overlords, queens, and things like that for the first few minutes of the game, while Hack tries to get his expansion up, and a second barracks now going up in his main as well.
Yeah, certainly. Saving up those early resources for DIMAGA so we can get those early queens, as you mentioned before. But he has a lot of flexibility in this build because he got his gas so late. Yes, he can go into that early link speed, like you said, but we could very well see some sort of a Roachling all-in or something along those lines here. But looks like Hack actually following up his 1 racks with those 4 racks, and so this is something that I've actually seen out of Druby quite a bit recently. Just taking that early expansion, then moving into 4 racks after that, then you make a nice 16 to 20 Marine push while you're defended behind bunkers back at home, and it actually works really, really well for you economically as well.
That's true. This mineral-only build is going to be super duper aggressive in just a couple of minutes here. Still no refinery on Hack at all, so that's actually really surprising to me. But DIMAGA is actually taking a 3rd base right now. That could mean trouble if 50 Marines show up at his doorstep in the near future here.
And we do have a 3rd base coming up for DIMAGA over the top left-hand corner, and looks like the SCB is going to get a good scout on that. Hack will know exactly what his opponent is up to as he floats down his orbital command to the 6 o'clock position, even throwing in a, looks like he's going to start a wall. You see 1 bunker coming up. We also have supply depot being added into the mix as well, and he continues to rally in a bunch of Marines. So he is going to have a pretty powerful attack force. This SCV at the back here will get taken out by a Zergling being sent in, so he's not going to be able to put any sort of bunkers down out of vision of that hatchery.
Right, and DIMAGA does have eyes on everything that's going on at Hack's natural expansion there. He sent in a Zergling just to poke around a little bit, saw the depots going up and the bunker, so he knows exactly what's going on over there. He does have his lair started now, but does not have a ton of fighting units, and all these Marines are going to create some trouble here if DIMAGA doesn't get some more fighting units out here soon. All he's got right now is a wave of 6 Zerglings and more Drones Queen Overlord, typical macro units coming out of those larvae. Still no Roachhorn or Baneling Nest either for DIMAGA. This could get ugly here soon.
Yeah, certainly, but we do have layer coming up, so it looks like he's just delaying until he can throw some sort of layer tech down, but he hasn't been saving up an astronomical amount of gas. Few Zerglings making their way over to the ZeNEXHack tower. The Marines will get surrounded and die promptly, but there's another huge group of units following that. DIMAGA sees it and needs to back away as fast as possible, immediately producing 14 lings, but I believe that was all of his larvae at the time, and I don't know if 14 lings is going to be enough to combat the 15 Marines that are bearing their weight down on DIMAGA's base.
Even a creep tumor gets picked off there as they march their way in. There's no supporting forces here at all, just one Marine at a time streaming up through the minimap down that highway. 2 Zerglings just pop instantly there, and Overlord's now being focused down by Hack. That's a great decision, actually. It's going to prevent him from making any more lings to try and defend this. I like how the Marines are all grouped up here. They're just shooting in every direction against those lings and drones, but all these melee attackers here won't be able to get into the middle until the very end, and it looks like DIMAGA is going to be able to clean up a lot of Marines, and now Hack is being forced to retreat. Wow, that number of lings actually really surprised me, being able to take out that number of Marines all back to back like that.
Yeah, you had to pull a few drones to get it done, but they buffered damage and presented a pretty powerful force against those Marines. And it looks like he will intercept the Marines that are starting to reinforce across the middle of the field, and those were losses that Hack really can't take at this point, especially as now DIMAGA is one base up on his opponents, got queens everywhere. He's investing in his infestor tech as well, and he's going to have a pretty powerful composition moving on. Didn't need to waste any sort of unnecessary tech at the beginning of the game, and he's going to run right by with those lings. He gets into the main, and all of the SCVs are going to be forfeit. Now they're going to have to run away down to the 6 o'clock position, but right now Hack is taking a lot of economic damage.
Hack has to feel really bad about leaving that supply depot down. The Zerglings probably shouldn't have been able to kill off anything there except maybe for a supply depot, but the fact that he was able to get in and cause all that havoc, make Hack move around his SCVs, losing a lot of units as well. Things are looking really bad now. These lings are just killing Marines as they pop out, but finally they are going to get thinned out to 0. They have pathogen glands up there in the production tab for DIMAGA now, so soon once those infestors start hitting the field, Hack is going to be in big trouble if all he has are Marines.
Yeah, and the first couple of infestors are just coming up right away. A little bit surprised that DIMAGA doesn't have an evolution chamber down yet. We usually see plus run around this time whenever these infestors are coming up. Makes a very powerful attack along with mass lings behind that. I think that's mostly due to the fact that he had to overcommit the lings to be able to ward away that big attack that was coming at him before with all of those unupgraded Marines. Nonetheless, though, he is still going to have a quite formidable force, +1 or not.
That's true. Hack actually taking a big gamble here, trying to drop that third base over at that, very normal third base location, but the fact that DIMAGA is sitting directly underneath it with the Zergling right now means he's going to get to see everything. He knows the Marine count now as well, because Hack just basically sent everything at him at that one link just to be able to expand. So if you look in Hack's base right now, there's so many barracks. A single starport coming up now. He's going to need a reactor on that to be effective at all, and I just don't think he has the income necessary right now to support a lot of medevacs. A couple of infestors are out on the field now, about halfway full of energy, and a huge stream of those speedlings coming along now, and here comes the attack.
Yep, and there's a couple of infestors behind that as well. They get down a great fungal growth, and it neutralizes most of the Marines. The first bunker is going to fall, and a great fungal growth goes down on all of the SCVs. A couple of infested Terrans being put on the other side as well to assist in the damage, but the lings are just going to make their way over to the right-hand side and start taking out that third. A lot of SCVs falling.
I can't believe you said neutralize those Marines. I would have said slaughtered, but they all kind of like popped open and their blood and guts went all over the field there. And DIMAGA still has so many units left here. He's got a 47-ish supply lead. These infestors just regaining their energy. I really like that he didn't wait around too long with the infestors. He just went straight for the gut and got that big fungal off right at the beginning, because if he had waited around too long, perhaps some of these other units from the starport and factory and things like that may have made them a little bit less effective. But this infestor ling push is not over yet. It looks like DIMAGA is still rallying outside of that third, outside of that natural. He just needs to pick a target at this point.
Yeah, DIMAGA's not going to let up on this, and he's even smartly producing drones while he does this and continues to macro, putting up upgrades as well. We already see Adrenal Glands and Ultralisk Cavern being brought up at the same time, and it looks like DIMAGA is going to make his way down here in just a second. And frankly, there's not much sitting there for Hack to go ahead and ward away this attack. So here they come. Zerglings making their way in. The SCVs are immediately sent over to repair that bunker, but those are just going to be a little bit of a meat shield because the fungal growth goes down. The SCVs disappear. This bunker is going to fall, and I don't think DIMAGA has anything else to hold back this attack.
DIMAGA is just going to flood through here. These supply depots are not going to be able to hold up. There are links in the base getting blasted down by that single siege tank, but the infestors really are going to probably win the day here as Infested Swarm Map gets thrown up. Hack really can't mine from 2 of his orbital commands right now, and there's still a lot of links and Infested Terrans up on the high ground now. Oh, the supply depot goes down and the tank gets surrounded. Hack has no choice but to GG, and DIMAGA is going to take game 1 here on Metalopolis.
Yes, indeed. And, I got to say, DIMAGA's strategy was really, really good there, but we saw a couple of shortcomings out of Hack. He really committed to that early Marine attack and was not investing in upgrades for those Marines at all. Even at the end of the game, we see that Combat Shield wasn't quite done, and Stim alone wasn't going to be enough to hold back that swarm of Lings. So congratulations to DIMAGA. We're going to take a quick break, guys, and we'll be right back for game number 2 of this best of 3. Okay, guys. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to cut you off there.
No,
but
go ahead.
We have just been informed that unfortunately DIMAGA disconnected and has not been online for a considerable period of time. We don't know if he's having technical difficulties or what the issue is, but unfortunately he was disqualified, and that means Hack is going to advance into the finals.
That's really pretty upsetting. DIMAGA, after taking that first game very skillfully, I really thought he was in trouble there on Metalopolis, but he actually came back with Ling Infestor and did such a good job there. I'm actually really upset that DIMAGA has not been able to come back online. So unfortunately for him, it looks like ZeNEXHack is going to go into the finals, but we do still have another entire semifinal to cast here between Complexity Druby, who's in Korea right now, and Fnatic MSI TT1.
Yes, so I apologize, guys. I see chat. Unfortunately, it's out of our control. We wish we could contact him in some way, but it appears as though he is having severe technical difficulties and will not be online. So Hack does advance, and as Josh mentioned, we are going to move into Fnatic MSI's TT1 versus Complexity Druby. So we're going to be back after a short little break. We'll be presenting that series to you as soon as we get everything squared away.